Okay, so I said I wanted to do a separate video. If you watched my last video, I came up with a topic right on the fly, and it was teams need to do a better job of treating their former players better. So that's exactly what I would want to say here, or I am going to speak about here, I should say. Yeah, I see the bomb too. Doesn't itch at all. But anyway, yeah, this is basically what I'm seeing. The Clippers went from being the favorites to land Kawhi, and they did not end up being that way as free agency approached. Now, this is still before the end of free agency, so I have no idea what Kawhi is going to do as of this point. But right now, I'm looking at reading the tea leaves, and I'm saying, okay, the Clippers have lost favor with Kawhi that quickly, just because the Lakers freed up cap space and got AD. Well, yeah, those are great circumstances, of course, but the Clippers have been courting this guy all year long, practically stalking him everywhere he goes in the Raptors arena. Like every game they had a representative there. Now he doesn't have any interest in playing for them. Why would that be? Well, I read something that made sense to me. And the answer was, he doesn't trust the front office. Why would he not trust the Clipper front office when they have all these great guys? You got Doc Rivers, you got Jerry West, of course. You got I'm trying to think of the other guy's name. That's why my head has gone blank. I can't think of his name, but he's the general manager. He was a coach of the Nets back in the past. Very successful dude. He's their general manager as well. You got all these brain trusts in place. You got Steve Ballmer, obviously, with the deepest pockets you can find. Why in the world would Kawhi Leonard decide to just basically not go to the Clippers at the last minute? Well, the answer was it wasn't last minute. He did some thinking. And what he did some thinking about was this. Remember Blake Griffin? Yeah, jumping over Kia's first pick in the draft. I think it was maybe 08. I don't know what year it was. 09, something like that. Yeah. They gave him a max deal for a lot of years. Told him that they were going to, build around him, that they believed in him, that they were excited about having him. Several months into the contract, they sent him to the Pistons, who at the time were a very, very, very bad team, who were going to be capped completely out the game if they did this. They basically sent him to a very bad situation on a very long contract after making promises. That can't happen, man. That's the kind of thing that other players look at and say to themselves, I don't want to stay there. Especially a guy like Kawhi who went through what he went through in San Antonio. Then I think about what he's looking at with the Raptors. Just won a championship with the Raptors, got relationships with everybody up there, but then I look at that same situation. What did they do to DeMar DeRozan in order to get Kawhi Leonard? They had to trade somebody who believed in their franchise probably more than anybody who ever played for. Now, do I think that was a bad decision? Of course not. I would have did it too, and I think it was a good decision. But how it was executed with DeMar DeRozan feeling like he had been lied to was not how you get it done. And a guy like Kawhi Leonard probably remembers that as well, especially sitting there next to his best friend every day in Kyle Lowry. I'm sure they've discussed this several times over. The Lakers, however, have a reputation for treating players with respect, making sure that old players, even players that didn't have big roles, have opportunities to succeed in their front office and with different ventures. The Lakers back these guys forever. I mean, you could be a Laker 25 years ago and they'll still have a job for you here. And they keep that reputation. That's a reputation that they uphold, and it's been that way all my life and beyond. Then I look at the Knicks. They were also in a position to have KD, Kyrie Irving. They were going to get both of these guys, and they were going to run away with it. They had a chance to get Zion. Obviously, the ping pong balls were going to determine that. But they had all this momentum going into this free agency situation, and it looks as if the Nets are getting everybody. The guys that they want are likely going to the Nets. How could that happen? Well, I look back at Charles Oakley's situation when he was in the Garden and things didn't go so well, and they ended up having security physically manhandle him out of the Garden. It's a terrible, terrible taste left in the mouths of everybody who remembers watching Charles Oakley give his heart and soul to the Knicks. Yeah, Patrick Ewing was the star. Yeah, John Starks was the number 2 option or what have you. Allen Houston, whatever. Those guys were really, really, prestigious players, but they wasn't doing anything without Charles Oakley. They weren't moving nobody. They weren't dealing with the hardest of the hard, the toughest of the tough without Charles Oakley down there to push people around and remind them that the Knicks wasn't soft. Wasn't about to be pushovers. It was Oakley. It was Mason. It was those guys that was making sure things was going well. Rest in peace to Anthony Mason, of course. And like, you trying to tell me that he can't even be at the Garden? Like he can't get a little rowdy at the Garden? It wasn't a problem when he was doing all that, when he was giving blood, sweat, and tears to your team. Now he's a legend. He's an older guy. He might have had feeling away about a play or something. Might have had a drink in the system or something. I don't know. But that's not how you handle one of your legends. You know how disappointing I would be if they would have did the same thing to somebody like Derek Fisher or Robert Horry, or even going further back, if the Lakers would have did something like that to even Kurt Rambis or something like that. You know how terrible that would have been? And we can't even fathom it because of how the Buss family approaches the players on their team and how they maintain a level of family and togetherness with past players. That's the kind of thing that resonates with a guy like Kawhi Leonard, even though the Lakers have been known as a front office mess over the last 6-7 months or whatever. A guy like Kawhi Leonard looks at and weighs his options, and he looks at the Knicks. He ain't even looking at the Knicks. And he looks at the Raptors and say, well, we had a good year. I won a championship here. It was wonderful. I know he didn't forget about that thing that did to DeMar DeRozan. Why wouldn't they do that to him if it came around? Masai Ujiri, in that same breath, even though he did something wonderful for himself, he also did something that made people kind of be concerned about whether or not they should sign with his team. And I think that's going to play itself out right here and now. Why wouldn't Kawhi Leonard think 2 years from now Masai Ujiri wouldn't just trade him away for a better package than what they can get? With keeping him. If for some reason Kawhi went down with an injury, Kawhi has to be able to trust that contract is in good hands. So he can't go to the Clippers because he know that the moment something goes a certain way, they trade him away. Look at what's going on with Chris Paul. They trying desperately to get rid of that contract. It don't really pay anymore to sign a 5-year contract with a team and think you're going to have a future there. Because the reality is, if the thing don't work out 2-3 years into that contract, they're going to be looking to move you. So that's why I thought, and this is a different conversation again, but that's why I thought KD should have opted in with the Golden State Warriors this year while he rehabs. Just opt in. 1 year. Next year you're free and you're healthy. You can go to a team like the Knicks and say, I'm healthy. Let's do this. Rather than try to tell a team where I'm hobbled, I may come back, I'm not sure when, and then have people asking you this shit all year long. When you come and play for the Brooklyn Nets, when you going to come in, when you playing. I think it would have been smart for him to opt in. But anyway, all in all, I just think teams need to start treating these players the way the Lakers treat their players. Give them jobs, give them opportunities if they haven't already. Some of the teams are really good at that. You look at the Rockets, they're really good at that. I can't think of some of the other names. Dallas is known for treating their players extremely well. I think Toronto going forward will probably establish that reputation, I believe. Teams have done it, but not like the Lakers have done it. You know what I mean? And I think when you look at some of these negative stories and some of these negative things, you can also see the parallels between what their options are in free agency going on right now. And that's essentially all I wanted to say. So I hope everybody's enjoying their day and their night. And peace out. PDI.